everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way, and this week's project is a waterfall. I'm going to show you how to create this little composition. Sometimes water can be a little intimidating, especially water that flows, and so I'm going to show you how to do a really simple waterfall. You'll be surprised how easy this is to put together, and honestly it takes 4 stamps. And so that makes it even better. So a really simple project. We're just going to use a few things. So this is the branches set. We're going to use this one right here in the center. And then the only other stamps we need are from the 2 basic sets. So the small grass, the vine, and then the little filler flower. So really easy to do, and I know you're going to be really successful at this one. So we're going to start out with the Postit tape. So what I'm using is a piece of this Postit tape. We want to create these straight lines that create this waterfall, and it's really nice to use something like this. So I want to use this Postit tape, and actually it's a little wide. So this is 1 inch wide. So what I've done is I've taken off a piece of this and I've taken about 1/4 of an inch off. So this is 3/4 inch wide and about 2 1/4 inches long. So you can create this as long, make this as long as you want. Like I said, mine is about 2 1/4 inches, but if you want a longer waterfall or shorter one, you can do that as well. So I've attached it to my watercolor paper so that I am protecting this area. So I am free now to stamp over the top. So I'm going to start now with the branches, and you can see this is kind of a big stamp. It's pretty dense, and we don't need all of this. So I just want to make sure that it's all cleaned off, and I'm just going to use a little bit at a time. So I'm going to use sepia, and maybe just take a small area of it like this, and stamp it on the right hand side. So just out here maybe like this, and then create the other side. And so maybe take this area right over here. So don't stress out about this. We're just creating the idea of these trees in the background. And now we're going to come in and add the foliage to here. So we're going to use the vine, and I'm using the number 72 pine green, and I'm just going to ink the tip. So just the tip, and I'm going to just put in some of this foliage. So just in here like this, just kind of put it wherever. Don't overdo it. Don't get too much in here. Just the tips, and just think about you're kind of just extending these little trees. So you don't have to do a lot. So now let's go ahead and add water to this. And we're just going to dab, and you can see that I waited to add the water. So I stamped the branches in. I didn't add any water to it yet until I got all the foliage on here. So that's going to give us a really nice combination of color. We're going to see those branches in the background. So that's going to enhance our image. So just kind of jump your brush around. You want to make sure that you get enough color next to this tape, so the Postit tape. So we want to be sure to see the white area once we remove that tape. So make sure that you really get that color in there next to there. And you can kind of go above it too. So I'm just kind of adding the water here, softening these lines. Remember, this is just softening the lines that you've just stamped. Super fun. And then I'm going to now add a little more color in here. So we're showing that this is in the background. So we want this, we want there to be a mix of color in here. The waterfall is coming over the front, and so it's going to be a little dark in the background and behind here. So we want to see a little mix of color. So I've placed some, this is number 15. So this is the olive green, and I've just put a little bit on my palette so that I can add a little of this green into the background. And you can see I'm just kind of dabbing it into the background. Super easy and fun. And you can really kind of blend this out, make it really soft. This is really an abstract image, so it's just the idea of the waterfall in the background. And we can just pull this color out. Okay, that looks pretty good, and I've got a lot of color in here next to my tape, so that's going to really give me that that white white rectangular image. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add our little flowers into the background, and we're going to do that with the daisy bunch, so the little filler flower. I'm just going to ink this up and just put a little bit of this in there. And you can see I'm stamping this a bunch of times, and actually going to put another little group of it up in the top. And then dip your brush and add water to it. So we're just adding water to everything we just stamped. So easy. And this one especially because it doesn't take very many stamps. And sometimes I like to do compositions that require a lot of sets and a lot of stamps, because I want you to see that everything is made to go together, and it does kind of help you think outside of the box a little bit. But on the other hand, you know, it's also fun to do these projects that don't take very many at all. Really super quick to do. Okay, so we've got our little flowers in here now. So let's go ahead and add our grasses to the bottom. They kind of look like they're floating in the air, so we want to kind of cement those down a little bit. And just come right underneath here with the grass. Remember, this is going to walk across here. And they're going to just pull that color up and out. Up and out. And this area back in here, it's going to be really light, these little flowers back in the background. So you can really fade this out. Remember, the more you blend, the softer it's going to get. Okay, so now I think we're ready to take our little mask off here, and you can see we've got our area that's been protected. So I'm going to turn my paper now. It's a little easier to do it this way, and add some color to my palette. So this is the number 17, so this is steel blue, and just going to water this down. So I want to add some water to it, make sure that it's really watered down so it's light. And then I'm going to brush some water lines in here, just straight up and down. So just like this, just a few lines so that we can see the movement of the water. Don't bring it all the way to the top. And then turn it over and see if you need to add anything more in here. That looks pretty good to me. I think we've got enough. Okay, so you can see the water coming down now. So now we're going to take some of this water, and we need to create the top of this waterfall. And so what you want to remember when you're doing this is that the water is coming over the top, so we need to show that. So when we go to add some sky in here, or the top of the waterfall, you want to make sure you leave a white space from the bottom, from your last mark. So this little watermark here, I need to make sure that I leave a space above it. See what I mean? Just like this. And then I can create my sky over the top. And you can see I'm showing now that the water is coming down over the top. So this is just all about creating the image and creating the idea of. So we can see now that we've got a little waterfall, and it's coming down over the top, and we have a beginning and we have an end. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the bottom pool now. So we're going to do the same thing with the blue. And we're just going to create some straight lines here. So just like this. And we've created a little pool in here now. And as soon as that's dry, we can come in around here with the grass and create this pool. So super easy to do. And these do dry so quickly, super, super quick. So I'm using the number 15 green, and I'm just coming around the front. And just bring it around the front just like this. And then just add the water. And so we've created a little boundary here. So we've got a little pool where this is coming down. You could also bring this waterfall down again, same way again. You could drag this down, add some little blue lines in here, and do the same with another pool. So you can just keep this going. And I'm just going to put a few more little lines in here. We don't really have to do a lot. Remember, it's just the idea of it. And soften that out just a little bit more. This back in here under this waterfall, it's going to be pretty dark, so you want to make sure that you get that dark enough under here. You're really showing that under here. And you could add a few more up here, just a little bit. I think I will do that. Just add a few more little branches up above, just to make sure that they're as high as the waterfall here. And just fade it out. When you think about a composition, and especially with something like this, it's really, it's a little hard sometimes with a watercolor because sometimes you don't know where to end things, especially if you're thinking about things, you know, more in a square. But when you think about your image as a circle or an oval, especially with watercolor, there doesn't have to be an end to your image. So I hope I'm explaining this right, but you don't have to worry about where to stop because you're thinking of it in a circular area like this. So bring your grasses down like this. Bring your things up more to a point at the top so that your sky doesn't run off the edge. If your sky runs off the edge, your eye is wondering where the rest of the picture is. So this way you sort of create this harmonious area and you don't have to worry so much about where everything is going. I hope that makes sense. You just will be a lot happier with your composition if you kind of think about it like that, think about doing it in a circle or in an oval. I think you will be much happier with how it turns out. Okay, this looks pretty good. I think we are finished with this little composition. And the last thing to do is, of course, sign and date. Put it on a card and put it in a frame and give it to someone. You're gonna absolutely make their day. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and I will see you all next week.